which is perfect, becomes imperfect, can it ever be made perfect again? Hi, this is Barry Phillips with 10-Minute Torah, day number 2, the Torah portion Bereshit. Let's continue in Yochanan, John chapter number 1. And it says, then verse 3, all came to be through him, or without him not even one came to be that came to be. In him was life, and the life was the light of men. And the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. Now, when Yah created mankind, when he created all of creation, the entire universe, even that part which we have never found yet, never explored yet, have no idea it exists yet, he did so in perfection. Everything was perfectly created. I learned many years ago in grade school, many years ago, that if the earth was any further away from the sun, then we would freeze to death. If we were any closer, then we would be consumed with heat. But the earth and the sun are perfectly aligned distance-wise, and the earth and its axis, that the sun benefits us and does not destroy us. So Yah had everything calculated down to the exact measurement. And when he created man in perfection. Man was designed to live initially forever. We all know the story of the fall, how that this perfect man and his wife, man and woman in perfection, exactly as Yah would desire them to be, fell into sin through disobedience. And, well, we have a long, storied history of evidence proving the fact that we are indeed fallen in our nature. One might think that having created all things perfectly, that the promise of a redeemer, a restorer, one who would come and rectify this sinful situation, was an afterthought. Actually, Yah had Yeshua as the Redeemer, the Restorer, as the annihilator of sin in mind all along, even before creation began. If we go to the book of 1 Kefa, that is 1 Peter, chapter 1, verse 18 through 20. Knowing that you were redeemed from your futile behavior inherited from your fathers, not with what is corruptible, silver or gold, but with the precious blood of Messiah as a lamb unblemished and spotless. Now verse 20, foreknown indeed before the foundation of the world, but manifested in these last times for your sake. It was known before the foundation of the world. Well, that's just one text. Well, let's go to a second witness. Let's go to the book of Revelation, chapter 13, verse number 8. And all those dwelling on the earth whose names have not been written in the book of life of the slain Lamb from the foundation of the world shall worship him. That is, if you're not written in the Lamb's book of life, you will worship that which is the anti-Messiah. But it says here, the book of the Lamb that was slain from the foundation of the world. If you go over to Revelation chapter number 5, in verse 6, Yochanan said, and I looked and saw in the midst of the throne and of the 4 living creatures, and in the midst of the elders, a lamb standing as having been slain, having 7 horns, 7 eyes, which are the 7 spirits of Elohim sent into all the earth. And this one that is slain, this lamb slain, is the one who opens up the seals of the book. In the book of Matthew, chapter number 25, in verse number 34, we read, Then the sovereign shall say to those on his right hand, Come, you blessed of my Father, inherit the reign prepared for you from the foundation of the world. The reign, Yah knew that a sinful people would easily and quickly manifest themselves but the reign of the kingdom has been promised and designed from the foundation of the world. And then finally, in the book of Ephesians, chapter number 1 and verse 3, if I can get there very quickly. Blessed be the Father, Elohim, and the Father of our Master Yeshua Messiah, who has blessed us with every spiritual blessing in the heavenlies in Messiah, even as he chose us in him before the foundation of the world, that we should be set apart and blameless before him in love, having previously ordained us to adoption as sons through Yeshua Messiah to himself, according to the good pleasure of his desire. Again, these things are being spoken of as eternally understood from the foundation of the world, that a Redeemer is going to be necessary. So, if we go back to the book of Genesis, or Bereshit, this time to chapter number 3, the promise of this one that is to come and to be our Redeemer is given in verse number 15. And I shall put enmity between you and the woman, and between your seed and her seed. He shall crush your head, and you shall crush his heel. So Yah is basically declaring war in the spirit between those that are given to the realm of the flesh and the physical and the current world desires in its fallen state, and those that will seek that which is yet to come, the kingdom that is to be manifested, that is spiritual in its essence, but will be physically revealed in the earth in Messiah's day. So again, this redemption has been understood from the beginning. It's been prophesied to man through the agency of one who is called the seed. The word seed here is zera. We would transliterate that Z-E-R-A, zera. Now, if you go back to chapter number 1 in the book of Genesis, or Bereshit, and verse number 11, it says this: Let the earth bring forth grass, the plant that yields seed, and the fruit tree that yields fruit according to its kind, whose seed is in itself on the earth, and it came to be so. There is a principle here that fruit has to have a seed in it that will replicate the exact same fruit. Watermelons have watermelon seeds in them. Peaches have a peach pit or seed in them. Apples, an apple seed. Planting those seeds, theoretically, at least in our day, is supposed to replicate a plant or a tree or a vine that will reproduce the same kind of fruit. Now, we got all the hybrid stuff going on now, and that doesn't necessarily work. But if you have heirloom seeds, they should reproduce what you originally planted. Now, when mankind fell into sin, then the subsequent generations of his lineage would bear the seed of sin. And therefore, sin will continue on generationally because the seed itself has become corrupt. But Yah promised that it would be the seed of a woman. A woman doesn't have seed. She supplies the egg. It is man, the male, who provides the seed. But she would be overshadowed by the Ruach HaKodesh, the Holy Spirit. And there would be a different lineage of seed, an uncorrupted, incorruptible, undefiled, perfect seed that would bring forth one who is the promised Redeemer. When you and I become a part of him through redemption, the seed lineage is changed, and we go from the cursed lineage of the fallen seed of sin to the redeemed lineage of the seed of righteousness. I know, it blows my mind too. It's overwhelming, but that was understood from the very beginning, before the first act of creation ever took place. Yah promised this effect to bring back the original state of perfection in man. And may his kingdom come and perfection come in our day. More tomorrow. To then, shalom.